our skit requires some audience participation. The Bible says that the name of Haman is to be blotted out. During the skit, when you hear the name Haman, the audience is to boo, whistle, and blot out the sound of the name. For the sake of our cast, please use a short boo, like boom. If I say Haman,
Boom.
let's hear it. Haman.
Boom.
During the skit, you will hear Haman
Boom.
many times. Each time you hear Haman,
Boom.
you are to drown out the name of Haman with humility. This is what they're doing in synagogues at this very moment. First, let us introduce our cast of characters. First and foremost is King Xerxes. He is the ruler of Persia and a just and fair one. Next is Queen Vashti. She is soon to be the exiled ex-queen. Next we meet Hathach, one of the queen's bodyguards. The next character we meet is Mordecai, Esther's uncle, a Jew, and a loyal public servant of Xerxes, the man who Haman hates. Finally we meet Zeresh. She is Haman's widow. Our students retell us in the book of Esther. During the reign of Xerxes, this was the Xerxes who ruled over 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia, while he was occupying the royal throne in the stronghold of Susa. In the third year of his reign, he presided over a feast with all his officers and ministers, the Persian and Median aristocracy, the nobles, and the governors of the provinces. For as many as 180 days, he displayed the glorious riches of his kingdom and the resplendent wealth of his royal estate. At the end of this time, the king gave a feast of 7 days in the guarded court of the royal palace for all the people, great and small, who were in the stronghold of Susa. Liquor was served in a variety of golden cups, and the royal wine flowed freely, as befitted the king's beneficence. By ordinance of the king, the drinking was unstinted, for he had instructed all the stewards of his household to comply with the good pleasure of everyone. Queen Vashti also gave a feast for the women inside the royal palace of King Xerxes. On the 7th day, when he was merry with wine, King Xerxes instructed his guards to bring Queen Vashti into his presence, wearing the royal crown, that he might display her beauty to the populace and the officials, for she was lovely to behold. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the royal order issued through the guards. At this, the king's wrath flared up, and he burned with fury. Xerxes, king of Persia.
I think Queen Vashti did not come to my party because she did not respect me. Vashti must show obedience and respect for her husband and king. I think the punishment of exile for Queen Vashti was very well suited. My nobles advised me well.
Vashti, exiled queen.
Everybody acts like my refusal to attend the king's party was some big deal. The fact is, I did not go to the king's party because I was busy playing Persian Twister with the guests at my party, the one the king ordered me to have. I think my punishment of exile was so unfair, but I'm glad I wasn't killed.
Zeresh, Haman's widow.
I think the punishment of exile for Queen Vashti was a no-brainer. Xerxes and Vashti owned all the same property, so there was nothing to gain by killing her. I am all about gaining more, so Xerxes was smart to move on and dump her.
It would not do for the mighty king of Persia to live without a queen. In an attempt to find the most attractive queen, King Xerxes ordered a beauty contest to be held. He wanted to find the next Persian idol. Xerxes, king of Persia.
I think the Persian idol contest was wonderful and turned out well. I am so glad I thought of it.
Vashti, exiled queen.
When Esther became queen, I was a tidbit scared. I may be shallow, but I'm not stupid. I need to talk with someone like Haman to tell me how to get what I want.
Hathach, a god.
I thought the contest was an easy way to find a queen, but I don't think it would be a good way to find a wife. I think Esther won the Persian idol contest because she has a good profile and she would make a good carving in stone walls.
Mordecai, Esther's uncle.
Esther won the Persian idol contest because she is beautiful, loyal, and faithful, but more importantly because God wanted her to be queen at this moment in time.
Zeresh, Haman's widow.
I think the Persian idol contest was the last nail in my family's coffin. I think that Esther won the Persian idol contest because the king already has a beauty, so I think he wanted brains. In Esther, he got a twofer, brains and beauty.
One of the first things Esther did as queen was reveal a plot to kill King Xerxes that her uncle Mordecai had discovered. Xerxes, king of Persia.
I think the plot to kill me was very sneaky. Esther told me that Mordecai told her about it. I asked Haman what I should do when I wanted to reward. He said the person should ride a horse that I rode and a robe that I wore on my coronation. Then an important person should proclaim to the entire city, "This is how Xerxes rewards a deserving servant."
Vashti, exiled queen.
I think the plot to kill the king was sad. I may hate him, but still, he does take care of me.
Half-black, a guard.
I think the plot to kill the king was terrible because there was a chance that I would lose my job.
Mordecai, Esther's uncle.
I think that the plot to kill the king was cruel, and I thank God for letting me know about it so that it could be stopped. Can you imagine it took a week for the king to come up with that reward? Well, I thought it was strange. Later that night, I asked God, why? What a ridiculous prize. Who would ever think that that would be a great reward?
Zeresh, Haman's wife.
Well, I suggested what I thought to be Haman's reward, but somehow it became Mordecai's reward. I didn't expect the reward to be for that stinking Jew. Mordecai is the guy who caused all the trouble by refusing to bow down to my Haman. Haman hated Mordecai first because the Jew refused to bow down before him, then because King Xerxes gave his reward to Mordecai. Haman was clever enough to realize that every Jew was capable of such outrageous behavior. He wrote a law which King Xerxes gave him the official seal of course. This law stated that all Jews in the empire would be executed on a date chosen by casting lots or poor. Gallows were erected throughout Poland in anticipation of the day.
Esther risked her life to tell King Xerxes about the plot to kill all of the Jews in person. She invited the king and Haman to one or two dinner parties where she revealed the plot. Xerxes, king of Persia.
I cannot believe that Esther invited Haman to a dinner party. Queen Vashti would never do that.
Vashti, exiled queen.
Do you know that if I tried to invite the king to a dinner party, it would have been the end of me? You know, he treats her differently than he treats me.
Half-black, a guard.
Do you know Esther could have got killed for doing that?
Zeresh, Haman's widow.
Haman was so proud that he was invited to dine with the king and the queen. This is the honor he was denied when that Jew Mordecai received my Haman's reward. Then it turns out that Esther turns on him and tells the king about Haman's plot to kill Mordecai and all the Jews, just because she happens to be Jewish.
Half-black, a guard.
I think the king became angry with Haman because the mighty Xerxes could not reverse the law that Haman made.
Mordecai, Esther's uncle.
I think the king was angry with Haman. So was Haman. I to kill all the Jews in the empire, including my niece and his queen, Esther, simply because Haman was angry with me. Not only that, but Haman was doing it in the name of King Xerxes.
Zeresh, Haman's widow.
Haman is right. The Jews do not respect the rightful place of Persians. The Jews will destroy the empire, just like they have destroyed my family. I lost a husband and 10 sons to those vengeful Jews.
To remedy the evil law made by Haman and his cronies, King Xerxes allowed Mordecai and Esther to write a new law. Their solution was to discover the identities of the conspirators and put them to death before the date of the planned annihilation, on the very gallows they had built to kill the Jews. Xerxes, king of Persia.
My laws are irrevocable. Fortunately, Esther and Mordecai found a solution. Still, it is a shame that so many Persians had to die.
Half-black, a guard.
The king was angry with Haman for writing a law which could not be altered or revoked. Killing the conspirators before planned date allowed all of the Jews to survive.
Mordecai, Esther's uncle.
The reason the king allowed us to write the law was because he trusted both of us to write it fairly. Our solution was to prevent the destruction of our people. I thank God for allowing us to save the Jewish people.
Zeresh, Haman's widow.
The Jews stopped the plot to wipe them out by hanging our people, including my 10 beautiful sons. Can't you see how evil they are?
And finally, our cast. Xerxes, king of Persia, performed by Mary Horvath. Vashti, exiled queen, is Grace Horvath. Half-black, the guard, is portrayed by Dick Horvath. Mordecai, Esther's uncle, is Caitlin Tracy. Zaresh Haman's and I'm your narrator, Kyle Silva. Thank you for your participation on that. Please enjoy some more refreshments.
Thank you very much for your participation.